Good morning, everybody. My name is Marcin Bella, and this is my Piano for Everyone online seminar where I teach the fundamentals of a healthy, enjoyable, and sustainable practice of playing the piano. This is chapter 2. The introduction and chapter 1 are already on my Marcin Bella Education YouTube channel, so you can check it out. But this is probably my favorite lesson to do. This is where I show you that being creative on the piano, that actually creating your own music, writing your own songs or instrumental pieces, whatever you call them, is actually one of the easiest and most immediately rewarding things to do with this wonderful instrument. Obviously, I designed this seminar to be for everyone. So if you're everyone, this is for you. But I would say if you are an aspiring songwriter or producer, as in if you are a singer and you have lyrical ideas, you have a beautiful voice, you have melodic ideas, you are almost writing songs, but you feel like inability to play an instrument is standing between you and your creativity, please watch this. You will actually write your first song probably in 45 minutes if you watch this whole thing. Because I have a pretty unique approach to creativity that has really worked. I have shown people that they could really start writing right now. The piano is really designed to be a creative instrument. There's no other instrument, I think, out there that is as clear as the piano is on what the notes are, what the distances between the notes are, and the ease with which you can just press the keys is unmatchable. You know, like I live right here in Nashville, Tennessee. It's a city of songwriters, but it's also a city of people who want to be songwriters. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard the story of a singer who is stuck singing covers or dependent on other songwriters because they just don't feel like they play an instrument well enough to write their own material. And it really breaks my heart because it really isn't a big deal. And so if you are one of them, please watch. Same thing with producers. You know, there's a lot of people who are kind of DJs or engineers. You know, they're good with sound. They can make the recording really bump, have energy, but they don't play the piano or guitar enough to inject that musical content that would make them authors of music, as opposed to just kind of like service area engineer. So let's get right to it. There is a lot of music out there in the world that works in all kinds of ways, but most of music that we can think of right now consists of some kind of melody and some kind of chords. Even if you don't know much about music, you've probably heard of chords. So where I've heard stories of people getting frustrated and disappointed is that they try to sign up for piano lessons and the piano teacher tells them, this is middle C, in 2 months, maybe you'll play Mary Had a Little Lamb, and then eventually you will learn what the chords are. But even if you know what the chords are because you looked it up online, you feel like there's some kind of flow chart, like what chords go well after one another. I encourage you to ditch that whole way of reasoning and allow me to present my idea of what harmony is. I like the word harmony better than chords because chords are they're kind of like a byproduct of harmony. Way in the back, in the medieval and Renaissance ages, way before anything like a keyboard could be even conceivable from the standpoint of technology, people didn't talk about chords. That word didn't exist. people sang melodies, and sometimes they sang melodies at the same time, and that created harmony. Think about something like this. You have one person singing na, 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 right? Another person singing na, 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 and a third person singing da, 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 da. Well, what if they sang it all together? Then you will hear this. Sounds like very old music, right? Well, what I just played, you could say that I played a sequence of chords. That is true, but the deeper truth is that I played 3 melodies that came together to form harmony, and that is really how harmony evolved. Something like a keyboard instrument, and piano wasn't the first keyboard instrument. It was created to capture something like that, that kind of music that people already knew from vocal music and instrumental music, and be able to do it all at once with just one person playing, and it was a huge revolution. But if you want to be successful as a creator, or if you're an enthusiast, hobbyist pianist and want to just play the instrument, not play actual songs, just lose yourself in the sound and improvise and be creative, that's how I would encourage you to go about it. So let's start right away. What people call chords typically is a combination of at least 3 notes. So say like something like this is not technically a chord, it's just an interval between the 2 notes. But something like this is indeed a chord. The most commonly encountered chords in our lives are ones that would skip every other key. So say you find that key, skip the next one, go to the next one, skip the next one, play the next one, that will give you a chord. These are not the only chords. If you have more space between the notes, you also have a chord. You can even have quite a bit of space between the chords, between the notes. Or, it doesn't really matter. But I would like you to find a chord, a harmony that you like. So just poke around. Maybe you like this one, maybe you like this one. You may not like this one. Say you like this one. It has a little melancholy to it. When you do it, when you poke around, listen to their sounds. They are different, even though you are playing seemingly the same combinations of the white keys, the actual distances between them are different, which you might have learned in my previous lecture. So they're all different. Some of them are called major, some are called minor. You can learn that kind of vocabulary later on if you'd like. But for now, find something that you like. So say I like this one. Then I want you to play it at least 4 times, just to really go into the sound and really hear what it is. And then I want you to pick one of the notes, so you have either this or this or this, and move it either to the right or to the left. So say I'm going to take the bottom note and move it to the left. And it immediately tells a story. Then if you go back and go back and forth, then if you are a singer who is creative, you probably already have a song coming to you right now. And then you can keep going. Alright, so I'm going to move the middle one to the left. Now, that's a crunchier sound. If you encounter something like that, you may not immediately love it, but I still want you to play it 4 times and really listen. And it's quite possible they'll grow on you. And especially if you go back and forth, even if your immediate reaction was a little bit, it sounds wrong or something. Remember, there is no such thing as wrong in music if it's your music. If you're creating the music and you like it, then it's right, by definition. Now I'm gonna take the top note and move it to the right. See, it's like a new chapter of the story just started. What we're doing right now is instead of thinking in terms of which chord successions I'm gonna use, we are emulating the actual mechanics of harmony, which is that these are melodies that sound simultaneously and go together. So our melody right now, it is very simple. The top two voices, just keep holding, and the middle one goes ta, but the bottom one moved ta, da. And there is something really magical when we hear three things and some of them stay where they are and some of them move. If you have an electronic keyboard like I do here, you can actually put it on a string or a choir sound. And emulate that kind of melodic linear thinking even more vividly. Now, I'm going to take probably somewhat surprising detour right now. What will make your life infinitely happier in that process of finding sounds you like and going back and forth between them and playing them multiple times is the use of sustain pedal. The sustain pedal, if you have an electronic keyboard, is the only pedal that your keyboard probably came with. If you have a real piano, it will be the pedal on your right. So since I'm dealing with this one-shot situation here, I'm going to take my pedal off the floor and put it right here on the keyboard to demonstrate how to use it correctly. Alright, so here's my sustain pedal. I'm gonna have to clean the keyboard later probably. So I'm going to do with my left hand what I do with my right foot when I operate it. Using the sustain pedal correctly is extremely crucial. As a matter of fact, I work with a lot of adult students, people who are either hobbyists or professionals in the music industry, and they didn't learn the piano when they were kids. But I also work with people who used to play the piano as children or tried, and then they come to me for help to play better. Their fingers often work really well, and they kind of ruin it all with the incorrect use of pedal. Pedal is a very powerful tool, but it could also very powerfully ruin your playing. So let me show you how to do this right. There is no reason to wait for it. You might as well get good at it right away. What the sustain pedal does is it sustains our notes. Normally, if we press the keys, the sound lasts only as long as our fingers are down. When we release, the sound ends. When we use the sustain pedal, the sound keeps going. And what that means is that sometimes when we jump between the sounds, instead of having a little gap between them, especially when we do fancy things like this, and we want it all to ring, that's what we use it for. So initially, using the sustain pedal the right way may be a little bit counterintuitive, but please take time to get it right, get that motion of your right foot and your hands working the right way, and then you will never have to think about it again. So rule number 1, don't press the pedal at the same time as the notes. Press it afterwards. Okay, so like if you want to sustain this sound, press the keys first and pedal to follow. Okay, that's rule number 1. Then here's the crucial part. Say I'm going to connect this harmony here with this one. So the reason I'm using the pedal is to create this halo around the sound and smooth out the transition between the two. I don't want to break between the two. I want this sound to sustain while I change. So first, as you know, you're gonna press the pedal after the keys, then get ready for the next sound, and here's the crucial part. Release the pedal at the same time as pressing the keys. So this is gonna be a simultaneous opposite motion, right? Your fingers are gonna go down and your foot is gonna go up. Watch this. See, I'm ready for the next sound, and boom, pedal up and back down. Now the pedal, if you want to sustain that second sound, the pedal needs to come back down to catch that sound right away. So think about it in terms of this mantra. You press the keys, then the pedal, get ready for the next sound, and go up and back down. And up and back down. And up and back down. Now I kind of failed because it's extremely difficult to do it with my arm a little bit. You know, it's designed for like a whole human leg to be pressing on it, and this is really not ideal. But you get the point, right? So one more time. We press the pedal after the keys. We get ready for the next harmony, and we release and come back down. Now, here's what happens if you don't release when you go into the new sound. Then you're gonna hear both the old sound and the new sound simultaneously. And that's how people muddy up their playing most of the time. They just keep their pedal down most of the time, and it all kind of blurs together. I'm gonna demonstrate the wrong way to do it. It's not that bad, I guess. But you hear how it's just like a little blurry, a little muddy, because the pedal is sustaining all of the notes we're playing instead of just what we want to be sustained. So I hope that explains it. If you're still missing a little bit of the mechanics, please let me know, comment, holler. I'm available to help, but please practice this. Make it a habit. Make it possible for your foot to go up when your fingers go down at the same exact time, and then when your fingers are down, press your foot back down. It will initially seem a little awkward, you know, because our body again is wired to work the limbs in synchronization, but your body will get the memo very quickly, and then you'll be really happy with your sound. So now I'm gonna put the pedal down real quick. And let's get back to improvising pretty harmonies one more time. You might have noticed that I'm sticking to the white keys for now. I would encourage you to do that for now. The white keys keep you in the key. It's a specific key. It's this key of C major or A minor. But all these notes really go well together. So I'm going to kind of like go back to the exercise that we started and and show you some instances where you may not be immediately pleased with the sound, but I want you to kind of, give everything a shot. So in other words, you are exploring right now. Like you are literally, you don't know what the next sound is gonna be. You're just moving one of the virtual voices up and down and just seeing what happens, and that's really wonderful. But I do see people kind of say like, let's say like you're here and you like that sound, it's pretty. Then you see what it would be like to move the bottom voice down one, and it's this, and you go, I didn't like that sound. Well, don't do that. Just give yourself a strict rule that you're gonna give everything a shot, and you're gonna give everything 4 tries. So say, I'm here, I'm happy, I'm pleased, it sounds pretty. I get here, and it's a little crunchy. But you know what? Play it 4 times, then go back to the pretty one, and it may grow on you. This sound, this like crunchier sound, we call it a dissonance. And without dissonance, music would be like food without salt and pepper. We need tension. A dissonant sound is simply a sound whose ratio of of waves, of frequencies, are a little more complex than those of consonant sounds. This would be considered a consonant sound. This would be considered a dissonant sound. But the truth is that in every instance, right next to a dissonant sound, there is a consonant sound. And it is that flow between the more disturbing sounds and more pleasing sounds that creates the story of music. So check this out. This is a pleasing sound. Now we come up to a dissonant sound. But if I move the middle one down, it will be much smoother. And there is something so beautiful about attention and conflict resolving into harmony. Now that is also a somewhat dissonant sound, but guess what? If I move the top note down, it's gonna beautifully resolve. And just that, just these exchanges could be the basis of your first song. You might have already written a couple of songs right now. If you're a songwriter, you hear something like that, say like you stumble upon this, and this, and you go back and forth, the lyrics will start flowing. So easy. You didn't even have to watch the first chapter, the technique and warm-ups, because honestly, what I'm doing is I'm just using random fingers, 2 in the left hand, 1 in the right, or vice versa. Anybody can do this. Your 3-year-old child can do this if he or she had enough patience to actually give every sound a shot and not do this, which is what they will do, which is awesome. Let them do this. If your 3-year-old enjoys this sound, then enjoy it with them if you can. So I really hope this chapter got some of you started on trusting the piano to be a creative source, and debunked some of the myths that you have to have the skill of playing the piano in order to be creative on it. I actually dare to say it's quite the opposite. You want to be creative first. You want to just freely explore. Just even listen to 2 sounds at the same time at different distances, how different they sound, because the story of music, as I mentioned in the introduction, comes from math. You know, every relationship between two notes is a mathematical ratio. When we listen to music, thousands of actual mathematical fractions stimulate our brains in very specific ways, and somehow that connects to our emotions. And because these sounds have been used in all the soundtracks of movies that you've cried to or you laughed to, they are in your memories, and so all these combinations of notes trigger something that's unique to your story, and you can use it to create your musical story right away. Again, I'm Martin Bella. This was Piano for Everyone Chapter 2, and I'll see you next week for Chapter 3. Have a beautiful afternoon.